So I'm Brittany Harris. I am co-founder and CEO of QFlow. We enable construction sites to track and manage their environmental impact and ultimately drive a more sustainable construction process.
My name's Catherine Bottrell and I'm co-founder of Pilio Limited, and we are one of the first software technology companies to spin out of the University of Oxford's Environmental Change Institute. We founded in 2011, so we've been going about 6 years. And we focus on building solutions for businesses to support them in energy, problem solving and climate change. And we've been supporting companies on how to use all their energy data to translate it into action to support their businesses in their sustainability goals.
Hi, I'm Jackie Barnett. I'm Head of Research Commercialisation at the University of Bristol, and in that role I assist with our spinout creation. I assist with commercialisation of our intellectual property portfolio.
The thing I love most about what I do is I just get to talk to people all the time. As many of my friends have highlighted, I love talking. I love sharing ideas. I love being challenged. If anyone asks a really intense, difficult question, I get so excited because I just want to see if I can unpick it. And that's literally what I do every day. Is I get confronted with a new challenge that I probably haven't seen before, and then I have to figure out how to unpick it. And I can never do it on my own. And that's the most important thing about running a startup or starting a company is learn. You are never going to do this alone. You just have to find the right people to help you along the way. And I love that. I love people. I love collaborating. I love communicating. I love sharing ideas and just generally being all over the place. And I have finally found a job that allows me to do all of those things and have a really positive impact on the world.
Developing my ideas, I'm now setting up my own business and building up a team, a really highly creative, engaging process. And ultimately, I care passionately about the challenge of climate change. And I'm sort of positive that although this can feel very overwhelming, that all the environmental changes that are being caused by human activities, I also feel that we have great ingenuity to problem solve this. And now, I've been in my career over 15 years and still continue to feel really motivated that I myself can contribute, and the team and colleagues and collaborators I have can really positively contribute to making the changes that we want to see across our society.
The biggest challenges have always been, you get knocked down every single day, probably 2 or 3 times a day, and you just have to keep getting up and keep brushing yourself off. And I had someone describe this to me as grit, and I had no idea what grit was. They were like, oh yeah, founders, they're really gritty. And I was like, what the hell's grit? Now I know, grit is literally just being unstoppable, being completely tenacious, 100% curious, just saying, how do I make this better? How can I keep going forward? What's the next step? How do I get over this next hurdle? And although the challenges have changed dramatically from where we started, when we started it was, I have no clue what I'm doing, to being, how do I raise investment? To being, how do I convert this client into a paying client? How do I hire the best people to build my team? The challenges change, but the similarity or the gold thread behind all of those is always, how do I keep getting back up when I'm knocked down? And the only piece of advice that I will give to every single founder is really love what you're doing and be 100% committed to it.
Attitude. The biggest thing is really just about attitude, about wanting to go for it, passion and attitude. The technology, the skills can be learnt. You can really train people in a whole range of different skills. But if they don't have the attitude and they're not coachable, then you really are going to struggle to train them to put them into a spin-out and to get them as a spin-out founder. So I think really, yeah, attitude, coachability, and a willingness to learn and take things forward.
I think we have a real challenge with STEM entrepreneurship, whether it's men or women. We need more of it. We need to challenge the norms and find better ways of doing old, rusty things. And sometimes it's about going back to basics. I think the main thing that we can do to get more women in, but also just more people in, is have really great mentors and get more exposure.
For other women, and I'd love to see more women feel that they could participate, and thinking about, well, what are the barriers that are preventing them to feel that they could participate. So I think there is a role that universities and government policy can create in terms of creating the resources and funds so that you have a minimum level of income. Many of my peers have not gone into entrepreneurship because they feel that it's too risky to undertake that from childcare needs. With their partners, if they have those partners, feel that they can't take the risks of, mortgages have to be paid, nursery care and stuff. So I think if we want to see more women, especially in your 30s, that you've got to come into this space typically in your late 20s and 30s. So I do think there needs to be looking at funding to support that activity.
I think that as universities we have a role to play. We need to be definitely putting it out there as an option for women in STEM subjects. When I was studying, it wasn't even an option. You went out and got a job. I think it's becoming more of an option, so I think we need to present it. We need to have more female role models. We need to have more mentorship. We need to support women more to actually to want to do entrepreneurship, to want to start companies. I also think that we need to recognize that younger women should be taking on these challenges and can take on these challenges, and we need to really support those young women when they're doing their doctorates, when they're doing their postdocs, in actually moving into spinouts.